Yeah, come and join us at Sequoia Living REI, where we only talk about relevant topics, things that are important, things that help you grow, things that help you elevate. Come and join us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we're having quality conversations. All right, what's up?
What's going
up,
on,
people?
everyone? Yes.
What's up?
We are back with another episode of Conversations with SNL.
Yep, I'm Seth.
I'm Lashia.
And together we make Sequoia Living REI. Let's get it, people.
Yes, let's go ahead and introduce today's guest. Jayne Harris is the mother of 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, 2 boys and 2 girls, ranging from ages 2 to 5. Jayne was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, by her father and stepmother. Jayne watched her father grow from an employee to a self-made entrepreneur at an early age. In fact, her father worked in a grocery store and asked the owner, "How can I own one of these stores?" The store manager told him, "Black people don't own anything." Her father opened his very first of 12 grocery stores in 1978 and eventually purchased that same store that the manager told him he couldn't own. Jayne's determination, tenacity, and hard work ethic came from working in the family business as a teenager. Jayne currently lives and invests in real estate in Hampton Roads, Virginia. She was introduced to wholesaling in 2018. She has a BSW degree in social work and a master's degree in psychology and counseling, but her passion is all facets of real estate. Jayne is now a licensed realtor and can be found hanging with other investors at local real estate investment groups. People, Miss Jayne Harris. Jayne Harris, people.
Hey,
What's
y'all.
up, Jayne?
Hi.
Yes.
That's a good introduction. I like that.
Hey.
That's good.
Yes,
That's
yes.
awesome. It's letting the people know what to get ready for.
Yeah,
And somebody amazing wrote it.
yeah, just a little bit about me.
Right.
That's just a little bit. That's some good stuff.
Yep, definitely seems.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Seems like you're doing awesome today. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well out here, and I had to get in my car. Forgive me, y'all. I was out in the building and it had bad Wi-Fi, so I had to do my little mobile office right now.
That's all right.
Of course. That's all right.
Out in the field.
Yep.
Yes.
Everything real estate related out there getting it.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's go into it. Let's see let's learn about you.
Yes.
All right. So let's start off like this. All right. What inspired you to pursue a career in real estate after obtaining degrees in social work and psychology?
Well, so when I came here from Florida, I was born and raised in Maryland, and then I moved to Florida, the panhandle of Florida. I married military, and then I came up here because my daughter, she was in the Navy, and she needed my help with the grandkids, and so I decided I was coming to Virginia to help her. And when I came, I started working at a hospital, using my social work degree. I worked at the hospital. And so a guy at the hospital that was working with me, he kept doing stuff, and he was like, "Jayne, cover for me. I got to go do this closing. Jayne, cover for me." He kept doing. I was like, "Wait a minute, dude, you making all this money on the side. Tell me what you doing." And so he wrote down 2 names of 2 mentors. He said, "I'm going to write down these names." He said, "Go Google it." And that's all he did. And I took it from there. I was like, "Oh, okay, bet." And so he told me what he was doing, making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 checks at closing. And I was like, "Look." And so he introduced me to wholesaling. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I learned real quick that there's other ways to obtain properties without wholesaling, because wholesaling didn't work for everybody. So I went to people's houses and tried to lowball them on a house. And I found out that, well, they owe $70,000 on a mortgage. How are you going to offer them $50,000 for their house? So I had to learn some creative financing, and that's what I did. And so I just started learning and diving in and going to YouTube University. And eventually, when I made some money, I started hiring mentors. But so I got really interested in it. You know, I bought my first house at 22. You know, my dad told me I needed to buy a house. I'm like, no, I don't. I like this apartment. You know, and he's like, no, you need to buy a house. Yeah. So, you know, so at 22, I was always been a homeowner, but I just never thought about investing until I talked to that one dude at work. Brian is his name, and he's introduced me to wholesaling, and it's been on since then. Yeah, and that was in 2017.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yep.
And you know, I just love when people they are willing to share.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he could have withheld that information, but he shared it with you. You know.
Yeah.
And look how you've been shining ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to share it with other people too. You know, I have to share it with other people because there's a lot of information out here. But I just trust that people trust me, right? So people trust me and they come to me and they look to me as being successful. I mean, I learned a lot. I had to, and I don't have a course. I don't charge anybody for any information, right? And so I taught myself a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I'm still learning, right? But I educate myself a lot. So.
Yeah,
that's important. You know, real estate it's a big beast. You know, it's a beast. You know, and sometimes you gotta take your time entering into it. You know, and you gotta like pick one spot. You know, and just focus on it. You know, and if you're looking for entry into real estate, you know, just go after it, and then just piece by piece. You know, day by day, property by property. The more networks you make, the more people you meet, the connections. You just learn. You just learn. You know, just go after it. But your entry was awesome.
That's right.
Your entry is awesome.
So how did your upbringing and witnessing your father's entrepreneurial journey shape your own work ethic and determination?
That's a good question. You know, my father worked really, really hard, and at moments I didn't like it. I really didn't, because he didn't have a quality of life with us growing up as a family. And so let me tell you some more background. So my parents separated and divorced when I was very young. I was the youngest of his first set of kids, the four of us. And he had us when he was like 16 years old. So he had my sister at 16, my brother at 17, another brother at 18, and then I at 19 or 20. So he always tells a story that I'm 20 years younger than him. And so they were very young, right? And so when they divorced, my mom got custody of the two girls and my dad got custody of the two boys. But then eventually my dad saw that my mom wasn't raising us right, and so she gave us to him. So my dad had two boys and two girls to raise by himself. Well, he was working, and he was like, I can't do this by myself. So he found my stepmom, and she had three girls. So we are a blended family. And so now it's 7 of us kids in the house, in the apartment, right? And so I saw him work very hard. I mean, taking a briefcase home, bringing a briefcase of paperwork home after he done already worked 12 hours at the store. And so now he's still coming home and looking at papers. And I'm like, gosh, he works a lot. But, you know, and then he used to always say, you know, I have to do this. Your house is not on the line. My house is on the line, you know, and he would always say that. And I didn't really understand it. I understand it now, but he was just such a hard worker. And then at moments I was like, Daddy, I don't think, you know, I was working that hard in the job as well before I had kids and before I got married, right? And I said, I don't think a woman should have to work this hard. You know, I didn't. And I didn't see his wife working that hard either, right? But he worked so hard, but he was just determined. You know, he was a no-nonsense man. You know, and so I kind of got that work ethic, but I know when to shut it off. I had to learn how to shut it off. And sometimes I don't still, but I got that work ethic from him. And I'm grateful for it, because you look now at people who just don't have that work ethic. You know, they don't have the honesty. They don't have the mentality to go and get it, per se. You know, they just waiting for things to come to them. And he has that mentality, let's go and get it. You know, and so I think that's what shaped me at an early age. And I was 13 when he opened his first grocery store. Actually, I was 12. I couldn't work then. I had to wait. In Baltimore, you had to have a work permit. I couldn't work until I was 13. And do you know he was counting down the days till I turned 13 so I could work in the store.
You gonna come in here and help me. You gonna come in here and learn some of this.
Right.
Wow.
Take it with you. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Right.
It is. It's really just beautiful, because that go-getter mentality. When your friend Brian gave you the two names to Google, to look into it, that go-getter mentality that was
Jumped on it.
embedded in you from an early child.
Mhm.
That just helped you to pursue, things that people would have just looked at the piece of paper and not wanted to do the work. So it's just amazing. Yeah.
And like he taught you how to recognize opportunities.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
And that question kind of goes like the way you answered it goes right into the next one. Could you share a memorable experience or a lesson you learned while working in your family's business as a teenager?
A memorable experience or a lesson. So all of our stores, I would say all of our stores, my dad looked for properties in inner city of Baltimore. Well, it's rough, right? It was rough back then. It's really rough now. But in the inner cities of Baltimore, he would take dilapidated properties and fix them up, right? And then make a grocery store out of it. And so they were pretty decent sized grocery stores, like our Food Lions here. Like, so it was a pretty decent sized grocery store, a full service store. And so it was a family business. It was myself, my dad, my stepmom. Every now and then she did the money part, but she was a former cashier. And then all of my older siblings. Remember, I was the youngest of that group, so it was the three older siblings, and then our half siblings, two of them. So it was all of us in the car. We all going to the store. It was the whole grocery store who ran the store was in the car going to the store. And so when the store came down, we working from sun up to sundown, And I'd be like, Dad, I need a day off. But it was a whole grocery store. And then in the winter time, this one time it stormed so bad, and you know how people raid stores in the storm because owners couldn't come to the stores. So we stayed the night in the grocery store so we could open up the next day. And my uncle was there at the time. I remember he had a shotgun. Like, I wish y'all would come in and loot this store.
It's not happening. It's not happening over here. Stay away.
It was all
the whole tribe is in here.
Exactly.
The whole tribe, the family, everyone is in here. No.
That's right.
Yeah, it's protecting it.
That's
That is
right.
awesome.
I hope you guys caught that. Protect your investment, okay?
Yeah. You worked hard for it.
Yep.
Yes.
They was not coming up in that store robbing nothing.
Yes, I love it. Just a strong will.
Mm-hmm.
So what motivated you to transition from being involved in real estate investment to becoming a licensed realtor?
So in the beginning, like I said, I got here in Virginia in 2017, and then I started really diving in like 2018. And then I went to my first real big conference, I would say. It was in fact, it was in Miami, and I'm going back to that one this year because we couldn't go during COVID. And so I met a lot of ladies, and I started really diving in, and I wanted to build a team. I wanted to be part of a team, right? Because being a solopreneur is a lot of work, right? And so I wasn't part of a team, and so I said, okay. And then also I wanted to close my own deals, because I had a couple of deals I knew that were coming up that would be closing, and I didn't want to pay the realtor's fee. I'm just pay myself, right? And so that's the same mentality my dad had, like when he opened the grocery stores. Like, why am I paying these HVAC guys? Why don't I just own an HVAC company, right? Or he would wear a suit. This is a true story, y'all. This is a sidebar. My oldest daughter is 36 years old. She has never seen her grandfather outside of a suit. He has worn a suit every day of he has worn a suit, right? And so he said, I'm paying these guys to clean my clothes at the cleaners. I've been spending a lot of money. Why don't I just open the cleaners? And so that was his balanced mentality, is like, why am I paying somebody else? Why I don't just open a business? And so he had several other side businesses. That was a side note, sorry. But that's why I became a realtor, because I'm like, why am I paying somebody else these fees when I can get these fees, right? And so I just got the license. And I've heard a lot of people say, you know, the realtor license, it restricts you because you can't do what the wholesalers do and things like that, which is true. You know, there's some code of ethics, right? But, you know, I just wanted to be a realtor, a licensed realtor, because I do have some people that were coming to me like I wanted to buy a house, right? A traditional house. So now I say I have a ugly house business and I have a pretty house business, right?
Yes, I love
What
it.
you need?
It's all right.
What
It's all right.
So
I love
it's
it.
just getting with the right broker who understands, who's a investor friendly agency that helps me do both sides of the business.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Yes, yes.
Definitely. All right, well, let's keep it moving. Let's get some more. Let's get some
Yes.
more. All right, and in what ways do you actively engage with local real estate investment groups, and how has that impacted your professional growth?
So local real estate growth, that was Brian, Brian, my first guy. He never went to real estate investment groups. The mentor that he introduced me to, that was one of the first things he said. Sign up for meetup.com and go to these investment groups. And Brian never went. But I found, you know, I'm more of an introvert, but I found that this is where you're going to get the meat of your business. These people right here, either you're going to meet some mentors, and then I was surprised when I went to the group. There's attorneys there, there's bankers there, there's lenders there, there's everybody from all facets, right? And so it was just so important for me to plug into the local people. So the people that I originally plugged into were the two mentors that he gave me were online. I didn't have any local people. And so it was important for me to know the local market. And so when I first went into the one RIA that we still go to now, I've been going there since 2018. And so I thought it was so important, and I wanted to build a team. And so two of my subject to deals that I've done, they came from dealing with the people inside of the local RIA. So I had a property that needed a lot of work, and it was a subject to property. And I went to a RIA, not this one, but it was one in Virginia Beach at the time in 2019. And I told the deal to a contractor. I told him I have this property under contract. It needs a lot of work. And he had a contracting company. It's Class A contractor. And so he had the company. He said, you know, I'm looking for a home in Norfolk for my daughter that I can fix up. And so he bought that deal from me, right? And so, and then my other deals that I've closed, I met attorneys at the group. And at the time, I didn't know an attorney that could close a subject to deal. So I met the attorney at the group, and he closed the deal for me. And so, you know, it's important to make those connections when we go to these meetings, to meet the people that we need. And everybody in the room is somebody you need at one point. And, you know, I heard someone say this, Pace Morby. I'm not sure if y'all follow Pace Morby. I heard him say, you know, when he meet people, it's like, why are we not doing business together? You know?
Why are we not?
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
Exactly.
So that's my thing now. Like, why are we not doing business? We got something we can do together, even if it's just JVing on a deal together, you know?
That's
So,
Yep.
Yes.
Listen up, people's like those connections, you know, link up with like-minded individuals, you know, you get more done, you cover more ground. That is awesome.
and you know,
Yes.
I didn't always have that mentality. I had to be honest. I didn't always have that mentality because I was like, well, I got to split my profit, you know? And I was like, you know,
It's enough.
and then I had to think like, you have 0 of 0 or you're going to get 50%. You know what I'm saying? So
Can't split a donut. Ain't no donuts being split.
I know I had to grow up and I had to think about it differently. But it's just all, and it wasn't always about the profit either. It was about me trusting people. You know, I had to get that, and that's why I go to meetups. You know, the people that I see them over and over and over again. I can trust you because I know you've been grinding like I've been grinding, and you got the same mentality.
Right.
Everybody don't have the same mentality. And so being a solopreneur, I had to make sure I trust the people that I'm going to business with, right? And so I've met a lot of my business partners in those local meetups.
I love it. And I really appreciate your transparency
Hmm.
because there's somebody out there who has not fully stepped out into real estate because they don't want to trust people or they don't want to have to split their profits or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
But as you can see, Jamie is a living testament of what happens when you step out, okay? So just go ahead and take that step. And also, I'm so grateful for the meetups because if it hadn't been for the meetup, we wouldn't be sitting here today doing this podcast because that's how we met you.
That's true.
Yes.
That is so true. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me add one more thing to that with the like when you're talking about the splits. You know, people fail to realize that real estate transactions are some of the biggest transactions that take place.
Hmm.
You know, on a daily basis. You know, it's not like you're splitting like the cost of a T-shirt. You know, it's not like you're splitting the cost, you know, of a soda or something like that. You know, these are big transactions. You know, so that split can be split within 5 to 10 different people.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone feels good. Everyone feels satisfied. Everyone feels like they won at the closing table. You know, I just
Yes.
wanted to add that in there.
Yes, get to the closing table, people. And you can't. I also heard, I think it was Earl Nightingale said that not a single dollar was made without another person.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, yes,
That's so true.
yes. All right. So I know we kind of got off track a little bit, but we're so excited and I'm absolutely loving this. And I know that there's somebody out there who needed to hear that. So we'll just keep it moving. How has your background in social work and psychology influenced your approach to real estate transactions and dealing with clients?
Let me say this. I feel as though early on I left a lot of money on the table because of not knowing how to connect with people, right? Not knowing a personality style that didn't necessarily clash with mine, or a strong personality that I kind of backed off, you know? And so, with my background in social work, and now I deal with psych patients, I know it's kind of, you got to kind of be gentle with people and you got to meet people where they are, right? And so some people aren't, you know, I'm going in like, okay, let's get this done. Let's do this. You know, you want to sell your home or no, you know? And so I have to learn how to be patient with people. I haven't always been patient, right? I haven't always been patient. I haven't always been the one who explained things to a level where people understand. And so my background in social work, I just believe it's because I've dealt a lot with unfortunate people. Lately, well, my last job in social work prior to working at the hospital was working with people in foster care and adoptions in foster care. And so it didn't bother me to go into dirty homes because I've done that before. It didn't bother me talking to people, you know, one-on-one because I've been there and done that. But I understand now that people have different situations, and people always talk about looking for people who need your help. And in real estate, people need our help to solve a problem that they have with their real estate, whether it's, you know, inherited property, whether it's they got down on their luck and they behind on their taxes or bills or whatever. And so I understand now, coming in gently with people and having compassion for them. It's not always about the deal. It's about how you're helping these people to overcome whatever it is they need help with. And so I hadn't always been that way. To me, in the beginning, it was about get this deal and move on to the next one. Get this deal and move on to the next one. But I had to stop and think, no, these are people and this is their property and this is their homes. And so we have to be gentle with them and let them lead when they're ready to sell their home or ready to move to the next level. So, yeah.
Yes. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. As I said before, I just love how transparent you are. Because a lot of times, you know, people don't want to say how they feel in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're honest about, you know, how you feel and how you have reservations, that can help somebody else, you know, with their reservations.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, I hope that you're listening and you got your notepad out, your pen, your paper, everything. Because Jayne is dropping a lot of jewels. I hope you're getting it all.
Yeah. It hadn't always been. It hasn't always been. It hadn't always been easy. This is a grind. And I tell people all the time.
Right.
One of my sisters called me. She said, "I want to do what you do." I said, "Girl, I don't know if I make this job look easy, but this here ain't easy. This ain't easy.
That's right.
I don't know if I make it look easy." She said, "Well, I can just, go by." I said, "Listen, you don't know the nights that I've been out putting out bandit signs by myself in the dark. You don't know the nights that I be up at night crunching numbers, trying to make sure this work and this work and this work. I said, this ain't no easy thing. No, people make it seem like it's easy, but people on social media, they don't always tell you the ins and outs of things that don't work up or the money they lost. I've lost some money, And so I said, this ain't no easy. And as I talked to her, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just keep my government job." Yeah, you better.
It's what they say. What makes it easy is like somewhat of the understanding after you get familiar with it, but the grind, the constant grind and the work that you have to put in, that's it's tiring. Like if you just, for instance, if you're sending out direct mail, you're sending out mail to people, you don't want to just make copies of those letters. You want the handwritten letters. The handwritten letters, the handwritten envelopes, and then that whole process. If you sit there and do 200 of them, that's good. Depending on how much time you block schedule to take care of that, that'll take you some time. That'll take you some days,
Correct.
A lot of times that just gets swept under the rug when people just talk about or how easy it is or how easy you make it look because they don't see that.
Right.
They don't see that part that you put into it behind the scenes.
Not to mention the hand cramps.
Yeah.
Writing all those letters.
You sound like you got experience with that.
I'm getting flashbacks now.
I know. Every time I think about writing a bandit sign, I be like, "Oh gosh, how much longer am I have to put out these bandit signs?"
Yes. And you said you was out there at night by yourself.
By myself. I had to think. Like, "Jayne, you can't keep doing this. It's not safe." You listen. Y'all don't know this, but this girl, 58 years old. I can't keep doing that.
Stop.
I keep doing that. My grandkids be like, "Doing what?"
Teach them. You better learn.
Right.
Pick up. Go
That's
help.
right.
Come help. Come help out. Get on the road.
Yes.
That's funny.
You look absolutely beautiful. Okay, you make 58 look great. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day. For going through all that you went through. I know you said that you had to transfer offices, but we really, really appreciate you spending this time with us and speaking to the people because I know it's a lot of people that will get a lot out of this interview today. So thank you so much for pouring into us, into our community.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And then just okay, if people want to reach you, how can the people reach you?
So my company name is JT Homebuyers, and I'm at my website is jthomebuyers.com, and my cell number is my Instagram handle is at JT Homebuyers, and my Facebook is JT Homebuyers. But then my name is Jayne, Jayne Harris. That's Jayne as in Nancy, Harris. And then my personal cell, they could reach me on Facebook and reach out to me, and then I'm always available. I don't do a lot. I mean, I have my family time, but I'm willing to help people. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how it is when you reach out to somebody and they don't respond. I like to see that people are interested, right? But if I find out you're wasting my time and you just kicking buckets, come on now. I don't have nothing for you.
Time is money.
Yeah,
That's right.
And the first thing I'm gonna do is invite you to a meeting. So if you can't come to that meeting, okay, that's fine. You got some money you want to invest. So how do we gonna work together? Talk to me how we gonna work together. How we can make some money together. What you bring to the table. What I can bring to the table. So I don't mind talking to people. I don't mind talking to people that want to learn and want to get in the grind. And I'm gonna tell you the ins and the outs and the truth and take it. But yeah,
the good, bad, and the ugly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we'll be sure to drop all of your information down in the description,
okay,
so that people can reach out to you. But thank you again so much for joining us. This has been episode 8 of Conversations with SNL.
Yep. Don't forget I'm Seth.
I'm Lucia.
Together,
We
we
make
make
Sequoia live in REI. Yes. Until next time, people, have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
We having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah.